Hi there, welcome to Give Thanks. I'm Amy Alamar, I'm the school's program director, and I'm joined by my friend and colleague, Kate Levitt, and she oversees all of our communication. We're so delighted to have you with us today. We hope that this finds you healthy and well. We are focusing on your health and wellness today. And thank you so much for those of you who've just joined. We have a poll going. It looks like for the majority, we've got teachers, counselors, and tech curriculum coaches. We also have a few people who've used GiveThx, but many who have not. So welcome and check it out. We're going to provide all of the resources today, including a recording of this afterwards. So you'll get all of the resources that we share, including the deck and a recording. So please don't worry about that. And if you want to sign up for a demo of GiveThx after, you're more than welcome to do that as well. I want to stress that we are here to support you and your staff well-being. And so anything we can do to help lighten your load, especially during this very difficult time in education, but also this very busy and hectic time of the holidays, we are here for you. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll now. Thank you so much for those of you who are able to participate with us. We really appreciate that. And I'm going to, just go ahead and chat with you quickly about the agenda. If you have any questions along the way, Kate is on our chat and our Q&A, so you can use those. We'll ask you to use the chat to participate along the way as well. If you're comfortable sharing publicly, you can also chat directly to us if that makes you more comfortable. So we are going to focus on the health and collaboration benefits around gratitude. We're going to introduce you briefly to the tool, although I saw that a few of you are familiar with it. We'll explore some specific practices that will help you build community and well-being. And we actually are very lucky in that one of our users was able to record a quick brief explanation of her use with her staff. And so we're very excited to share that with you. And then we're going to talk about how you could plan an implementation with your staff. So I'd love to just start by asking you to think about ways that you show gratitude to your colleagues. And if you're not in a school setting right now, that could be any colleague or even family member, but do you have a regular practice? And we would love for you to just provide your responses in the chat. You can do it again publicly if you're comfortable, but you can also do it privately to us if that's more comfortable for you. But if you could just share with us one way that you tend to show gratitude. And I can say safely that within our own network at GiveThx, we use the GiveThx tool to do weekly gratitude to one another. And it does get sort of assigned to us within our company. So that's pretty exciting. It looks like one of you is sharing that sometimes when you think of it, you drop a quick email or text to somebody. One of you said you tell them how much you appreciate them. Somebody says sending individual texts. One of you says, I make a point when we teach in person to stop by and go in aloud in front of their class to share. That's kind of fun, a little shout out. And then let's see, gratitude bulletin board in the main office. Small group of us have weekly Wednesday bagels and fruit. Well, that just sounds fun. You personally give a shout out to the new staff. I love that. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. So thank you so much for sharing those, and keep sharing them with us because it's really good for us. We are a community within ourselves. And so we want to share those ways that we do it. So please keep sharing those with us. So we know that it's hard to make the time for gratitude. We also know how important it is. And so we liken it to the put your oxygen mask on first, like in an airplane, right? Like make sure you're taking care of yourself before you can help others. And so we know you have a lot on your plates. We understand that this is the most challenging time for educators and administrators right now. And that, engagement struggles are similar to what our students are going through, this being sort of over Zoomed and feeling a little bit overwhelmed, or maybe teaching hybrid distance and in live classes. Like all of this is so much for us to juggle. And so it's really important that we lead and we model and we take care of our own well-being before we worry about that of our students. And so developing those social emotional skills, it might seem like, oh yeah, I already know about that, so I don't need to worry about it. But actually it's a true practice. And so we can build the community by doing that. And we know this to be true because we know that gratitude science tells us that gratitude is this true appreciation for people, for things, like our health, like our students, like our colleagues, and that being grateful to people helps us to recognize where we are in the world and what we have to be grateful for. It provides that sense of belonging and strengthens those relationships. So if you think about your colleagues, you have relationships with them and you want to build them, you want to make those connections. And so recognizing somebody for what they've done can really help. And when you are recognized, it helps you to feel a closeness with that colleague. We know that it helps to reduce stress and anxiety. It's all of these benefits, but we're going to focus on that and rewiring our brain for resilience. And we know the practices are journaling, letter writing, looking at what our strengths are. There are many practices, but these are the ones that we focus on with the GiveThx tool. So what is GiveThx? Briefly, for those of you who are new to us, we are a web-based app where we allow thanks notes to be sent between students and staff. So it can be staff to staff, staff to student, student to student, and it helps to build those connections. We also allow for reflection prompts. So that's just between student and teacher to really help with the processing. And we keep everything in one place. So it is a community in itself, which is very convenient right now with those of us who are doing hybrid and distance learning. So we give, reflect, we make those connections. And this is just a brief tutorial. And again, if you would like to do a demo of GiveThx, please feel free to reach out to us at the end. We'll have our contact information, and everything that we're going to share with you today is free, including the GiveThx tool through June of 2021. So if you want to check us out, please don't hesitate. But this is what a thanks note looks like. And you'll notice on the bottom there that we have some tags, and those are customizable for your setting. And then over there on the right is the reflection task. So students can send notes to staff or other students, and they can reflect. And you guys, staff, can send notes to staff. And that's what we really want to focus on today. We also provide in our tool a strengths inventory, so you can recognize what you're being thanked for. So what are your strengths? What are those tags that you've customized for your school? What stands out about you? And then we provide an entire practice guide, which is growing by the day. And so we provide you with these free practices to help you facilitate the thanks. And these are as good for staff as they are for students. And we're going to look at some that are very specifically used with staff. Here's an example of one. Every practice that we provide is just a quick one pager and comes with its own slide deck if need be. So we really want to make this easy for you to facilitate. This one is called Secret Agent Thanks. And this is kind of a fun one because this is one where you kind of watch someone maybe for the day, maybe for the week, depending on how it works out. And you watch what they're doing throughout the week. You take some notes and then you let them know. You send them a thanks like, I've been watching you. This is what I've noticed, right? And so it's really a good way to help make those bonds with staff, because it could be something, maybe you're working in a PLC together or on a special distance learning project together, and you can take note of more than just one small thing that staff member did. That's just an example of one of our practices. Here's another one, is a gratitude letter, writing that letter after doing that secret agent thanks and kind of picking that adult and writing it out. And we can provide you with that template as well if you want. And it gives you some prompts if you're not sure what to send, like what's one thing you were grateful for? What was the impact? Like really recognizing deeper than just thanks, right? How did it make you feel? What was the benefit to you? What was the cost to them? And so in practice, we were very lucky to have a guest with us. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it live, but she took this video, very seasonally appropriate, as you can tell. And she's going to share with us what she uses with her staff, how she uses GiveThx with her staff, and how they've now started with their students. But it started with just a staff recognition and focusing on the well-being. So she works for Early Head Start. So she's working with very young children, and she noticed that the staff was feeling a little bit disconnected. So I'm going to let Kaya speak for herself and share her experience. It's just a couple minutes.
I started GiveThx with the staff to promote staff wellness and inclusion throughout the program. We are housed in 5 different buildings, and I thought having a dedicated platform would help the staff kind of more readily express their gratitude towards each other. It's a way to serve as a reminder of things that we see every day, but we don't always go out of our way to mention to our coworkers. Um, Through the GiveThx program, we have been able to notice more. We notice patience and respect and communication that does happen on a daily basis. But as mentioned earlier, we don't always make the other person know that we respect it and that we see it. I can speak personally. I look forward to reading the messages that I receive, and I go out of my way to notice other people's good deeds and express my gratitude towards them. We have also started to encourage the kids to express gratitude within the classrooms. All of our teachers have started gratitude boxes where the kids can draw pictures or send little notes or artwork to their friends and kind of letting each other know they're thinking about each other. In November, we also implemented gratitude education where the kids are encouraged to brainstorm things that they can be grateful for and how to express that. We've had kids mention that they can say thank you for mom for giving them breakfast, or a brother to say thank you for playing with me. These are the things that made a big difference, and we're hoping to continue the noticing further on.
Fantastic. So we just wanted to give you like a real life experience. Kaya's an administrator, and so it was her job to kind of really think about how to nurture the teachers in their professional development and recognize this need for a deeper practice. And so we're so excited. And we even got to do a little bit of a deeper learning with them on focusing on their social emotional competency tags. So remember, we said you could customize those. So they took the time to really dig deep and look at what their community wanted to focus on. And it was a very powerful experience for them. So we want you to kind of step back now and think about, okay, we have all these different practices. Where can we make it fit, right? Like we have some practices that we can use. We have busy lives, right? But we know we need to make these connections. So how can we make this work in our day? And so thinking about sort of like, where do they fit? You guys already likely have regular staff meetings, all staff, maybe department meetings, maybe grade level meetings, professional learning communities. And you probably have some regular communications. Maybe it's a weekly email newsletter. Maybe it's a posting, check-ins that you might have, conversations that you might have either casually or, you know, as a structured routine. And so thinking about how those things get distributed, how do you communicate as a staff is really important to think about where you can anchor this practice, because we know it's important and we want to make the connections, but we also want to make sure that it's sustainable. And so what you want to do is focus on, okay, I don't want to add more to my plate. I just want to make what I'm doing a little bit more productive. So it's kind of that work smarter, not harder mentality. Like, how can I fit this in where it's a true practice and it's making use of something we already do? So if we already have a staff meeting and we already close it by maybe doing a couple shout outs, could we increase the gratitude through a more regular practice so that it's not just shout outs where a couple people get called out, but where it's everybody getting a little bit of recognition and using those practices to make sure everybody gets it. And then thinking about, okay, if we have the bandwidth, if we are doing this, right, then how do we lead it? You know, and if it becomes a part of our practice in the classroom, maybe on Zoom, maybe live, opening, closing, maybe practices or attendance even, especially with those distance learners. Maybe it's a process check after an assignment or an end of the week reflection and advisory. So we've kind of listed some tasks that we thought would be great for staff well-being in particular here. And again, you have access to our entire practice guide, so you could use any of them, but these were ones we thought these will work really well with staff and we see staff using. So there's the secret agent thanks, which we talked about, the reflection of 3 good things. What are 3 good things that happened today or this week? And, you know, why, what led up to them? What made them special? And you could do that throughout the week, because that secret agent thanks could be following somebody or doing a project with somebody throughout the week. The group gratitude, after we've done some group work, maybe it was in a grade level meeting, maybe we were looking at accreditation or something. After the group, what is the work that we can do? Who is in my group that I can thank? Maybe each of them or one in particular. There's the reflection check-in. What's one thing I should know right now? And these are really good to open or close a staff meeting with. There's the thank, pair, share, which is kind of like the shout out. So it's like we're going to thank somebody that we're paired up with. We're going to share it with them, and then maybe we want to shout it out. That's the thank pair. The thanks shout out. So how are we going to share that throughout the group? And the reflection with this could be message received. What's a message I received that I feel really good about or made me think about something? And that's a reflection. What do I think about that? How does that impact my work or change how I think about my work moving forward? And that can be really good for something like a professional learning community where you're focused on something in particular, maybe a department or grade level meeting. And then the gratitude wave is one of our favorites because that's where maybe somebody new joined the group, maybe a new teacher, maybe a new administrator joined the group, or a new student, and we all send thanks to that child. And we had, that just gives them 30 or 100 new thanks notes in one sitting, and that can just feel so welcoming and lovely. And the grateful by subtraction reflection goes nice with that because it's thinking about all the things that led up to something and what if they hadn't happened, right? Like what if? And so thinking about how can we find gratitude even in something that can be a little bit difficult? And that might be a nice thing to do in a weekly email, maybe an assignment that we do if you have like a staff check-in or newsletter. So these are just some ideas for you to consider how this could work in your community. And you guys each have your own kind of rhythms and routines, and they're a little bit disrupted, I'm going to guess, right now because of COVID. And so you want to think about what are the existing routines when we're live, and then what are they now? How do they look now? And how can we make use of this? And so I want to just remind you that you're going to have these resources available to you so that you can go back and look at these practices anytime you want. You can reach out to us with more information. But before we close, I would love for you to share in the chat with me and Kate, what is one of these practices that we shared with you? What is one of these that you feel like could become a regular part of your routine, or something you just want to try maybe on a one-off to see how it's taken, how it's received? What is one of these that you feel like, yeah, I could bring this up with my staff today, or I could ask them to do this, or I'm just gonna do this, right? Where in your routines does it work? Which practice resonates with you? And it looks like one of you saying the thank, pair, share, and message received during the professional development next week. Great, I love that. I'm so excited that that resonated with you. And I think PD is a fun time to do something like this because we get so much talking at, and we like to work with one another. The secret agent thanks, great, great. Gratitude wave, wonderful. And one of you saying, I love the idea of secret agent thanks, especially if we don't let people know it's happening ahead of time. Kind of like Secret Santa, right? If you're doing that, if you're celebrating with the holidays. I've used the check-in and give thanks with students, and it went amazing. I'd love to do it with the staff, wonderful. And we know that when you use it as a community, that you are very likely to create a stronger sense of belonging through everyone. So I'm glad that you feel like it's going to work with your staff as well. You started weekly Wednesday wellness with the school staff. I was able to join somebody for their Thursday breakfast with their students, which was so fun. And it was just a nice way to check in. They called them Thankful Thursdays. I'd like to try grateful by subtraction here at the end of the semester. Wonderful. I'm so glad. Thank you guys so much for sharing your ideas with us. Thank you for being open to trying these new things. We want to be mindful of your time. So I'll go back to the resources page. All of this will be shared with you right after. I think it sends out tomorrow. There'll be a link to the deck, which we've also provided the bit.ly right there. So if you want a little bit of a head start, and you'll also get a recording of this. You can find us at info@givethanks.org. And I'm also just Amy@givethanks.org, and Kate is Kate@givethanks.org. So if you have specific questions, you want to do a demo, you just want to talk a little bit deeper about maybe your social emotional competency tags, or maybe how you'll use this with the staff, please do feel free to reach out. I will stay on for any specific questions, but I want to just wish you all a wonderful holiday season, and thank you so much for joining us. Take care.